man, why not choose another topic?
Sir, I've studied Greek philosophy, German philosophy, American philosophy, but there is nothing on African philosophy, and that's why I want to write on it.
Young man, there is no such thing. Okay, there is no such thing. Are you questioning my intelligence?
No, sir, but I think there must be something.
Well, if you insist. You can continue with your full-time search.
Good day, sir.
Young man, you're still here?
Sir, I've searched everywhere, but I still cannot find any material on African philosophy.
Young man, I've told you to stop wasting your precious time, okay? There's nothing like African philosophy. Stop wasting your precious time. Go find something else, okay?
Okay.
In the 1970s, I studied extensively in my own university, the Paul University of Chicago. I did my PhD in philosophy and specialized in metaphysics. During that time, I had the opportunity to study various philosophies in the world. American philosophy, German philosophy, Greek philosophy, and so on. I happened to be the only black African in the university at that time. And what bothered me was my professors were all mentioning various philosophies in the world. The philosophy, some of them came from Germany, some of them came from France. They were mentioning their philosophy. But nobody mentioned African philosophy. So I became very inquisitive. I asked them, what about African philosophy? They said, well, they did not know anything about African philosophy. They don't even know whether Africa has a philosophy. So I became very inquisitive. I discovered that Africa is one of the oldest continents in the world. And as for sustaining human life, Africa came first of all the continents in the world. So that made me to think of delving into African philosophy, especially metaphysics. I determined to use the metaphysics of Demos, just like Plato and Aristotle, and made use of the Greek metaphysics to articulate European philosophy. So, to my greatest surprise, I discovered that nothing had been done towards articulation of African philosophy. So I then determined to delve into it with the help of God. And so I was able to write this book, Towards an IGBO Metaphysics, as the first articulation of African philosophy.
The debate whether Africa has a philosophy has in recent years given way to a much more pertinent question. What is African philosophy? This can be rephrased thus: how is African philosophy articulated and presented? Philosophy is all-encompassing. It aims at the comprehension of a whole mode or form of life. Africa is part of our global society. It has a distinct culture with healthy cultural values and meanings. True philosophy based on true human values and meaning therefore cannot but embrace Africa's unique contribution. But Africa's contribution cannot be given a fair chance without serious efforts on the part of the African elite. These elites are born into and live African culture. It behooves them, therefore, to engage in the actual doing of African philosophy. That is, to articulate and present in a coherent manner the specific ways in which African people have conceived existence, beings, and being. With this aim, we undertake to present an African philosophy as articulated in the metaphysics of the Igbos of Nigeria in West Africa. Agriculture is one of the earliest mainstays of the Igbo nation, as you can see. The men are doing the more tedious work of cultivating, while the women do the sowing. But wait, let's get it right. The sky or heavens is held in high regard by Igbos, just as the earth or ground. The sky, or Enigwe, gives the rain and sunshine for the good of agriculture and general fertility, while the earth, or Ane, gives the increase. Both sky and earth have gods in charge of them. These gods can be offended and appeased. The god of the sky called Igwe Kala, and that of the earth called Ane, or in some places Amadioha, are custodians of their separate enclaves. They are subordinates, like other demigods, to the supreme being called Chi-Ukwu, the big God who created all things, provides for everybody, and still creates ahead. He is also called the Sustainer. He is the cradle maker, and man and his activities are under his control. Such is the embodiment of African philosophy. When grasses grow between, the women weed the farm and provide support for weak crops. This enables good harvest at the end of the planting year. This is the reward of hard work. In Igbo land, special consideration is given yam by farmers. It is called the king of crops. You can see the preservation method here in a barn. Harvest and preservation continue. The women folk are not left behind, as you can see. Later on, some of the farm produce may be taken to the market for sales. It's time to show appreciation to the Supreme Being. The man is here to make presentations and also pray for a better harvest come next planting season.
Maka mmiri na awụ nke ewetara onwe ike konye ihe na arụ nka na-asịbụ ka ikenele anyị anị maka na ya bụ ihe akonye metara mkpụrụ iru oge ji ewetara sị ka aka mmadụ nekwa ji ga-enye ha go sị na na-ekene na ha emeka nke ọma ọ gbakwa maka gawa n'ilu ọ balisha ọbara agụba eziokwu bunye ji ufu ko je dezo ma mbo ya gba
mubu odumodu nne mulu no konwa mmezi ozizi muzie maka na ezi ozizi eze ejezie anesi mu gwa ajupụta eze ma na nke amfulu olu
mazi gozi karege
muna no ibanu asho ụbọchị kpatakali chanya likeliche chukwu abịama.
And guess what? The young man is learning from his father. So the art of paying gratitude to the Supreme Being continues. Sometimes, farmers do this at the beginning of the planting season to plead for bumper harvest and promise appreciation. Whatever an Igbo man does, he remembers his chi, or supreme maker. Every man has a chi. the whole Igbo land recognizes a Chukwu or Chi Ukwu, the big, central, and supreme Chi. However, before a man sets out for the day's business, he goes to his shrine to pray, just like the Christians do early morning prayers. The difference is that here, the supplicant uses kola nut and pours libation with local gin or wine. When he is done with the intercession, he sets out for the day's job. Though it is believed that good wine tapping runs in the blood of certain families, in most parts of Igbo land, men go out very early in the morning to inspect their palm wine trees. Amazingly, each man knows his own tree and dares not trespass. Well, palm wine tapping is part of the social life of the Igbo man. In those days, when there were no breweries, palm wine tappers supplied all that people drank during occasions. The man in charge of an Igbo community or town is called the Igwe in Enugu and parts of Anambra State, Eze in Abia, Ebonyi, and Imo states, and Obi in Ikaibo axis of Delta State as well as Onitsha in Anambra State. He oversees the administrative affairs of the community, presides over palace meetings, and passes verdicts where need be. His power of adjudication is not questionable because of his innate wisdom and the disciplinary background that binds the kingdom together. After the Igwe is an Onowu, who is next in command. He is the traditional prime minister. The Ezemo is the spiritual mediator between man and the ancestors. Igwe calls him in times of critical decision-making or confusing circumstances, and he consults the oracles, bearing the mind of the gods on a matter. Just like the Bible, kings of Israel would invite prophets to seek the face of the Supreme Being. The Ezemo is the mouthpiece of the gods and often works hand in hand with the Igwe, who is the administrative head of the community. Iron smelting is an integral aspect of the Igbo life. In most communities, it is an inherited skill, and such gifted families make a living out of it by producing artworks as well as hunting, security, and farming tools. Additionally, weaving is not left out, even among the younger generation. The life of an Igbo family is simply busy, both at home and outside. Relaxation and recreation is not left out. This occurs mainly after the harvesting period. Traditional wrestling is an integral aspect of Igbo life, as you can see. Most of the young men often earn themselves the admiration of fair ladies, who may later become their wives. Every young woman loves a physically strong man, at least for the sake of protection, farming, and homekeeping. Even the gods hate lazy people. The wrestling competitions combine music and physical exercise. What a way to relax. What a people. What variety. What nation could be more interesting and philosophical? What a school of many classes and lessons. The Igbos of southeastern Nigeria. Who are they? Where do they come from? And where can they be located? Nigeria, the largest country in Africa, was established in January 1st, 1914. This was the result of the amalgamation of British colony and protectorate of southern Nigeria with the British protectorate of northern Nigeria, all in West Africa. The country became independent from the British colonial masters in 1960. Today, Nigeria is comprised of 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Modern Nigeria is made up of many ethnic groups, but the three major ones are Hausas, Igbos, and the Yorubas. We know that the Yorubas live and organize their culture in the southwestern Nigeria. The Hausas developed and live in the northern part of Nigeria. This leaves us with the question, what of the Igbos? The Igbos are located in southeastern Nigeria and parts of the old Midwest and Delta region. The Igbos could be found in the